You're amazing. I got my family listen to you now. I've been watching a lot of your shows while I write, and this guy, Michael Wood, he was pretty angry.
Michael Woods, for those who don't know, was on, he's an ex-Baltimore cop, and he was mad at me and was pro-Black Lives Matter, but he later came on and he apologized.
So this Michael Wood, I like to post that link of him being a nice guy because everybody's always with the comments on when he's real nasty to you. But anyway, so what did you do to him? How did you fix him? Because he said he wasn't a Christian, and you said, "Oh well, I'll just have you on the next show, and then you will be." But so we know God's working on him. But like, what did you say to him to make him all nice like that again? And you were giving him jabs, and he was just laughing them off. And the first couple of shows, he was like, "Well, you didn't know I was married. You should have done research. And I'm a veteran, and I was a cop, and blah blah blah."
At one time, you were a police officer.
Right. I spent 11 years in the Baltimore Police Department from 2003 to 2014.
Yeah.
So I joined the Marine Corps at 17, where I was trained to kill people in exchange for a college education.
Right.
And then I took that skill set, the only skill set I really had at that time, to the police department, where I was essentially trained to execute the new Jim Crow in our systems.
Amazing.
So you feel like you're doing good because society says that you should be doing these things, that you should be, that it's protection, that you're helping. And I think we did have those kind of ideas maybe somewhere in society, but that's not what the system of policing actually is.
Are you a Christian?
I'm not a Christian, no.
You're not a Christian?
No.
And do you, what are you? When it comes to religion, how
I'm
do you?
an atheist. So I would like to hear what your claim is of what causes crime.
Well, first I want to just get it clear. It's not the police responsibility to figure out what causes crime. It's their job to come in and protect us from the criminals.
But what happens if that whole system, that whole punishment and whole marginalization and not being able to be trained and pushed out into society actually makes that person more likely to commit a robbery when they're released from prison? Jesse, I have to interrupt you.
The system is not set up to mama someone. They're not set up to treat you like you're a good person. It's set up to punish you for committing crimes so that you are less likely to do it again. But it's all soft now, like going home to mama. But isn't it true that people going walking?
I'm a guest on your show, Jesse. Let me talk.
Isn't it true that people going in and out of jail like it's nothing nowadays?
No, that's absolutely not true. Looks like you are supposed to be asking a criminal justice expert and somebody that's in the system what it's like. The audacity of you to tell me what it is beyond reprehensible.
Were you traumatized as a police officer? Because what you're saying doesn't make any sense at all.
So far right is Nazism, far left is Jesus. Just remember that.
In studio, I have with me, he is back, Michael Woods Jr. And so the last time we talked, matter of fact, you're known for supporting Black Lives Matter. Do you still feel that way? You support Black Lives Matter?
I support the concept of Black Lives Matter too. My problem is it really went into Black Lives Matter only. I've been around the liberal media, I've been behind the scenes,
yeah.
And they are all complete rats. And I kind of betrayed my principles with you, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to apologize because I didn't hear you out. I listened to more people on the streets over the last year and a half. I've seen the change with the Democratic Party and with Trump being in president. And I see a lot more of what you're saying that I should have paid attention to beforehand. And I understand this is an entertainment deal and you have to do entertaining things, but I was letting that cloud what you were really saying, things about like racism not existing in the country, right. Things about it becoming Black Lives Matter only, the Democratic plantation. I get what you're saying now.
Amazing. Well, I accept your apology.
Thanks.
That's amazing. I'm glad that you can see now.
Well, I'm not completely conceding on certain issues.
I said that you can see.
Oh, concede. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'll certainly agree that a lot of that happened. And I think you can credit your Great White Hope for some of that seeing.
The Great White Hope.
But it's just that for instance, when I saw you about a year ago at Politicon, when no cameras were around, there was no credit that was going to go to you. You embraced me with warmth and kindness.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, I haven't seen that from any of the hundreds or thousands of liberal media interviews I've done.
Amazing.
So I don't know. It really just did a lot to bring out to light what is going on in this country with what you're saying. Like, it's supposed to be a shock when I say that the system of policing it has racist outcomes. That's supposed to shock you, and you're supposed to object because the racism isn't there in the surface on our culture. So if it's not people outwardly and overtly racist, you should be shocked when I say that police are doing racist things. And it should take me explaining a lot of different things to you. Once you're accepting racism on the surface, I don't know what's happening here.
When you call them rats, what do you mean? What have you seen that would allow you to realize that these people are rats?
Well, I mean, they're not principled at all. I would have to say that that Kavanaugh was my absolute breaking point.
Yes.
The way they treated that man on a public stage with something with no evidence was, I mean, it sounds cliche, and I've heard a lot of other people say it, but I mean, that can be anybody's child, husband's, son, like whatever.
That's right.
Like that is to run somebody through like that in a completely unprincipled matter, forgetting everything that happened to Bill Clinton and everything that he did, everything that Al Franken or who's that the guy now, the Democratic one that just got forget he's
the
been
black
accused.
guy.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name, but he's they voted for him,
Right.
And he was accused of being violent to a woman or something.
Right. So all of those things where are the principles?
Yes, they have none. Mm-hmm. And then what they did to Kavanaugh and other men, they'll do it to you too.
Of course.
At the blinking of an eye, they'll do it to you too. Amazing. I didn't do anything, man. I can't take any credit for that at all. And that's why we got to be patient with one another. And right now, the people of the world are pure evil. They're pure evil.
Yeah.
And they are mean and nasty. And because they are worshiping the devil and have no peace on the inside, they're roaming the earth trying to see who they can hurt in order that they might feel better, or they think they're going to feel better, but they only get worse. But that's why the anger must be taken away. It's the spirit of the devil. Anyone that has anger is worshiping the devil, whether they admit it or not. They may be reading the Bible or not reading the Bible or whatever, but anyone that has anger is a child of the devil.
My question is, when people are yelling at you like that, what do you think about? Because I wouldn't be able to handle that for 5 seconds without yelling back.
Oh, so far, I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I realize that they can't help it. They can't see, right? And I know that it's not personal. And so when they do it, I don't take it personally because I realize that they can't help it. If they had love, they wouldn't be acting that way, but they only have hatred. Yeah. They only have anger. And that's what happens when the spirit of God take away the spirit of the devil from you. He will give you his nature, which is perfect love, so that you can deal with the world around you, so that you can see and understand that people literally can't help it, and then you are protected from evil.